Test. Um, I think just at this moment, I'm gonna try to finish reading this article and maybe another quick small one. Um, and then I think I want to do something in Python, but it would be cool to have my website done first. But I think I might just do Python first. Just or maybe not. I'm not sure. I'd have to. Doesn't matter though. Oh, and I want to try typing. Um, actually, I'm gonna do this later. Um, let me just give this a read. My keyboard is at a far larger tilt, but my thumb keys are a lot more separated now. Nothing replaces. Nothing replaces backups. By now you're probably realizing something about data CRC gimmick. It doesn't hold much value for data integrity and it's only useful for detecting damage, not correcting it and recovering data. You should always back up any data that is important to you. Just I've heard of cold storage before. I think, not sure, and uh, I I'm guessing if I were to take like a guess, I am like 55 to 60 around that range percent sure that you have data in devices that are turned off. It would would it for hard drives it might last a bit longer. Not sure. Um, I think that's uh but I think what I hear a lot is offsite backups. Um, and which is probably the most important thing. And there's stuff, but a lot of offsite backups. You should always back up any data that is important to you. You should always keep it on a separate physical medium that is ideally not attached to the computer on a regular basis. I think that's the concept of cold storage. Not sure. Back up your data. I don't care about your choice of file system or what magic software you write that will check your data for integrity. Do backups regularly and make sure the backups actually work. In all of my systems, I use the far less exciting XFS and Linux with metadata CRCs once they're added to ZFS on top of software RAID. And I also keep external backups of all systems. I also keep external backups of all systems updated on a weekly basis. I run smart long tests on all drives monthly. Including backups, and about once a year I will test my backups against my data with a tool like rsync that has a checksum based engine option to see if something has rotted over time. Um, I guess that would be probably the only. That would be an easy way to check if something has rotted or not. He says he does this once a year, but can't this be automated? Uh, or maybe I'm not understanding how this works. Um, uh, once a year. Um, Metadata scarcities. But wouldn't if I were to take the article, wouldn't doing something like this be this what you're trying to solve with something like this unless it's used for something differently? And that would mean you'd only have to do this instead of worrying about XFS or ZFS. Um, and if I'm guessing the way that smart works is it slowly like tells you if it decays over time or varying like levels. If it starts to decay, let's say it gets to the point where you wouldn't want to replace the drive, uh, wouldn't you like not sure when you do it, but something like do this check then replace the drive, or replace the drive then do this check, and all your data would be perfect. Pretty sure. Because all the drives would integrate at different times. All my data loss tends to come from the parlay types removed. I have yet to encounter a failure mode that I could not bounce back from in the past 10 years. Camera was flickering. I have yet to, I guess it's the focus changing. I have yet to encounter a failure mode that I could not bounce back of from in the past 10 years. ZFS and BTRFS are complex file systems with a few good things going for them. But XFS is simple, stable, and all of the concerning data loss bugs were ironed out a long time ago. Scales well and performs better all around than any other file system I've tested. I see no reason to move to ZFS. And I strongly question the benefit of catching a highly unlikely set of bit damage scenarios in exchange for a performance hit and increased management complexity that these advanced features would cost me, and if I'm going to turn those off, why switch in the first place? RAID 5 was not dead, stop saying it is. A related calendar as the blind zealot is the RAID zealot. Often in the footsteps, following in the footsteps of the ZFS zealot, or even occupying the same meat suit, they loudly scream about the benefits of RAID 6, RAID 10, and fancier RAID configurations. They scorn RAID 5 for having terrible rebuild times. Hype up the fact that if a second drive drives while rebuilding, you lose everything. They point out at 10 terabyte hard drives and do back of the napkin equations and tell you about how dangerous and stupid it is to use RAID 5 and how their system that gives you less space on more drives is so much better. Stop it, fanboys, you're dead wrong. You're showing your ignorance of basic good system administration practices. I will concede that your fundamental points are mostly correct. Yes, I'm only clicking like one at a time. Get them upgrades. But we're waiting for a billion cookies. We're at 87 million. And the next cookie, I should get the weight achievement. Yes, a 32 terabyte RAID 5 with 5 8 terabyte drives will take a long time to rebuild, about 50 hours at 180 megabytes a second. No, this isn't acceptable in an enterprise server environment. The infamous RAID 5 write hole, where a stripe and its parity are both updated before a crash or power failure and data damage as a result, is a problem. Although very rare one to encounter in the real world, how do I, the smug techno many advocating for dead old stupid RAID 5 counter with these obviously correct points? Longer rebuild time. This is only true if you're using the drives for something other than rebuilding while it's rebuilding. What I mean is that rebuilding slows down less when you interrupt it with okay. What you mean is that quote, rebuilding slows down less when you interrupt it with other work, quote. If you're using RAID 5 levels with more redundancy. Okay. No, RAID exists that doesn't slow down for a bit than rebuilding. If you don't use it, it'll go a lot faster. No surprise there. I know RAID stands for redundant array of disks. I'd have to like Google real quick. I'll do it later though. Google real quick on, you have disks, but you don't need redundancy, and it's just, pulling together speed and stuff like that. If you don't use it much during the rebuild, it'll go a lot faster. No surprise there. Losing a second drive, this isn't possible, but this is possible, but statistically very unlikely. However, let's assume that you ordered a bunch of bad Seagates from the same lot number and you really do have a second failure during rebuild. I don't know what's happening that's making my reading so off. Okay. So what, you should be backing up the data to an external drive. In which I think like the reading voice in my head is speaking at faster than I am speaking. So when my normal speaking isn't up to it, I might skip syllables and then catch up. I think that's what's happening. You should be backing up the data to an external backup, in which case this failure does not matter. RAID 6 doesn't mean you can skip the backups. Are you really not gonna are you really not backing up your RAID? What's wrong with you? Sorry. A RAID 5 in the enterprise. Yeah, it's pretty much dead because of the rebuild process slowdown being worse. An enterprise might have 28 drives in RAID 10 because it's faster in all respects. Most of us aren't an enterprise and can't afford 28 drives in the first place. It is important to distinguish between the guy building a storage server for a rack in a huge data center and the guy building a home server for video editing work, which happens to be my most demanding use case. The RAID 5 write hole uses, I think, I just gotta do a bit of read ahead, I guess, and then I just interpret it as an entire sentence, and then at the end of it, then go back and then speak it out, I think. The RAID 5 write hole used an interruptible power supply, uninterruptible power supply. You should be doing this on any machine with important data on it. Anyway, assuming you don't use UPS, Linux as of kernel version 4.4 has added journaling features for the RAID arrays in an effort to close the RAID 5 write hole problem. A small home or a small business is better off with the RAID 5 if they are also doing backups like everyone should anyway. With the 7200 RPM 3TB drive, the best. I hate switching from 7200 RPM 3TB drive. The best dollar per gigabyte ratio. I got it, and I got fading lock. Where is it? Okay. Next one, I just had to click it really fast. I know that I need at least 3 for RAID 5. I'm starting to get so tired. I wasn't tired like I wasn't tired an hour and 25 minutes ago. And I don't know, something just kind of clicked. I know that I need at least 3 for RAID 5, and I need double as many because I need to back that RAID 5 up. Ideally to another machine with an identically sized RAID 5 inside. That's a minimum of 6 drives for 570, and I could get 2 6 terabyte arrays, 1 main and 1 backup. I could even buy a nice laptop or even a great budget gaming rig for that price. But these two storage servers, I haven't even bought the other components yet. To get a to get a 6 terabyte and a RAID 6 or RAID 10 configuration, I'll need 4 drives instead of 3, adding $190 to the initial storage drive cost. I'd rather spend that money on other parts, and in the rare instance that I must rebuild the array, I could use a backup server to read from to reduce my rebuild time impact. I'm not too worried about the extra hours of rebuild. Not everyone has thousands of dollars to allocate their storage arrays or the same priorities. All system architecture decisions are trade-offs, and some people are better served with RAID 5. I am happy to say, however, that if you are so adamant that I first off is I'm well aware that ZeroFest doesn't actually use CRCs. That's a lot. That's how a lot of people refer to the error checking data in ZFS colloquially. So that's the language I adopted. You pointed out that saying it's a XY0 or doesn't seem to be an important paragraph. I was repeatedly scolded for saying that the ZFS checksum feature is useless despite never saying that. I acknowledge it does serve purpose, and use cases still exist. Oh god, I'm adding words. My position that I believe ZFS checksums. I don't know why. I try to why I automatically try to predict unnecessarily. Why did I add still there? I acknowledge that it does serve a purpose and use case. I guess. I believe that checksums constitute a lot of additional computational effort to protect against a few very unlikely hardware errors once the built-in error checking and correction in most modern hardware is removed from the overall picture. Uh, um, I want to try reading that again. I believe ZFS checksums constitute a lot of additional computational effort to protect against very few unlikely hardware errors once the built-in error checking and correction in most modern hardware is removed from the overall picture. Um, if you're making an embedded device like a video game system and you can afford to add that extra layer of paranoia to it, I don't think it's a bad thing. Remember that the purpose of my post is to address those who blindly advocate for ZFS as if it's the blood of computer Jesus and magically solves the problems of data integrity and bit rot. In my experience, hardware works as expected. Um, I think as far as computers go, um, pretty much, uh, seem like they're pretty crafted well. Is there anything non-computer related that is hardware that has? I had some stuff go wrong with my bike, but MCP like an entirely different world. Even most of the computers with every CPU regulated capacitor leaking electrolyte past extended memory testing, CPU burning tests. Hard drives fail a lot more than other hardware does. Sure, but even then the ECC does what it's supposed to do. Any text error and response sensitive handed over to booking data to the filter check. I'd like some hard stats rather than anecdotes, but I'm sure if they exist due to the huge diversity of failures, that can come out. So ZFS and XFS can catch this person's um, hard drive bit flipping problem. Oh. You know, I don't fully understand this one, but it doesn't seem to be uh 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 something well, well, I missed it by a lot. Doesn't seem to be much. Um Before I continue on, is there like easy achievements I could do? Like I feel like I'm too tired. So ZFS can be helpful if you have a proper ZFS RAID setup. Um, it's just a response. I think response. Two physical locations. Redundancy. Okay, I think maybe I could type racer. Oh god, that was horrible. Way below average. One more test. I could have been on a good test, but I think I messed up. There are minigames, right? How do you get the minigames again? I need a sugar lump. Do I have any sugar lumps? I need 1 billion cookies. I think a strategy I might want to go with is instead of like trying to get hmm, you know, either the juicy queen beats and the second pricing garden seems like it takes a lot of time and effort waiting to uh, get the right plants or waiting for juicy queen bee to pop up. So I think I might still go with juicy queen bee. 'Cause even though it might produce less sugar lumps over a longer period of time, it is kind of a lot simpler, I guess. Maybe. I think I'm pretty close. I'm like halfway there to getting the hardcore achievement, I think. Where I would probably only need like another hour, I think. Might just do some mindless clicking even though probably won't help. Well, I'm like making such an insignificant amount of cookies. Like, I'm at 3,000 cookie clicks, 3,000 handmade cookies. 3,000 out of the 300 million cookies that have been made. Every second that passes by, uh, is like me spending like 5 times as long. Like, every like 10th of a second that passes by, um, there's just more cookies there than I could click to make them. Could try like really quickly. Maybe coming over my GitHub to see if I could spot uh why uh not this one. Uh you'll feel uh I should probably just have a commit that changes the .git keeps so that way right here it shows empty. Mm-hmm. Um so this is I forgot an S here. The one of them. I think I already changed that in my local. Okay. Did I make the mistake here? Is this supposed to be backslash into the slash n? I think so. Uh, I can figure this out pretty clearly. So just in case this isn't it. That might be it. I didn't see that before. This is wrong. Let's just change it right now. So let me go back and edit. So I think it's gonna work though. And after it works, I just set up the webhook. Um and yeah. I guess I might have to look into branches. Maybe like an experimental branch would be smart. So that way the main one doesn't just have like uh like 100 commits a day or something like that. Probably like I don't know, for the main stuff, like a commit every 3 days or something. We're almost there. But yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep and then wake up, work on the website, and then assuming everything works, uh, I will start up the stream, the cookie clicker, and then continue working on the website. I think I have some stuff to do tomorrow. Uh, so we'll see. Which is technically today, but probably go to sleep right now. I do have to wake up early. Okay. Probably save and close. So close though. Fine. Oh, okay. I haven't missed any golden cookies and stuff. Two. Interesting. 55. My backup should be in. Yeah, that should be good. Oh, and for I don't know where it was. We'll just copy all line. That way I could just say I have this Control F. One vote. I think that's how that works. Okay, we can close. Okay.